It's a lovely spring day. Time for an adventure of some kind. So let's go. Last week I was going to go look for some elk up in the mountains, and I got to the parking spot where I leave my truck, and it was pretty snowy. And anyway, my four-wheel drive broke on me, so I'm not able to go as many places as I ordinarily would. So I think Moonshine Arch is the destination for today. Should be pretty easy to get to, should be a nice little hike. Ought to be a good day. Looks like it's a busy day out here. Lots of people parked out here. There's been a lot of improvements made to this area since a few years ago when I lived out here. There wasn't an outhouse there. There wasn't a nice big parking space. There wasn't rocks around it. There wasn't a gravel road. And I lived out here. I had a tent pitched out here, and this is where I slept. This is where I lived for a few weeks. I spent it was 19 months. I spent about a year and a half living mostly out of my truck and in a tent, different places here in the Vernal area. Anyway, I'll go by one of those campsites today while we're out hiking around. I got a brand new backpack from Stealth Angels that I'm going to be wearing today. I've never put it on yet. Nice and big, looks like. Got a waist strap here. All sorts of pockets and goodies for keeping stuff. Anyway, we'll see how it works. On my way. This road goes right to the arch, but as you're able to see, it's not the greatest. Sometimes I would drive up here a little ways before I got out and started hiking to my tent, but most of the time I just parked back there at the parking lot to save wear and tear on my truck. Pretty sandy along through here. This is the furthest I would take my pickup. Got a decent parking spot right here. And this, at least in just a few yards, is pretty much the end of the sand. And the trail gets going into the rocks and becomes more of a rock crawling venture than a drive on a 2-track or dirt road. It's springtime. I haven't been doing a whole lot this winter, and I'm a little out of shape. So, I'll stop and show you the scenery. Looks like somebody climbed up top there. You got great rocks out here. Good scenery. Fun places to hike around and climb on. It's a cool area. There is the arch. You can't tell it's an arch from this angle, but it's there, and those people are walking on the top of it. So let's go check it out. And here it is.
Watch where we're going. Just watch ahead. Are we on the...
This way, this angle's a little easier to tell that it's an arch. There we go. Kind of see out there where Vernal is-ish, or maybe a Steinecker Lake anyway. I remember coming out here for a YSA award picture a couple of times. While I'm here, I suppose I'll go up on top of the arch too, show the view. I've been rappelling off this once. A friend brought some gear and strung it around the middle of the rock here, and off we went. Kind of narrow. What a view. What they tell you when you're on high places? Don't look down. Nice close up of that stick while I crawl up here. And there's the end of the rock. It's fun to be up here. So, for my next adventure, I'm still up on top of the arch here. Next adventure, we're going to go out and take a look at where I used to live, which was up that way. So, let's go. Lots of these little rainwater pockets, runoff pockets up here. Some of them are fairly big, and one of them up here makes a great bed. That one right there, it's just perfect to roll out a sleeping bag in and spend the night, which I've done more than once in this very spot. Makes for a great place to sit up and see the sunrise. A little bit of water in that one. You can almost see where the truck is parked over there. Off we go. Onward and upward. The first time I came out here, I saw cottonwoods down there in the bottom, and I heard what I thought was a trickle of water. I went, wow, if there's a spring down here, that's pretty cool. I gotta go check that out. And so I did, and sure enough, there's a bit of a spring, a little bit of a trickle. In July and August, it pretty well dries up, except for up at the head of the canyon up there. But right now, it's got water running down there, and I can actually hear it right now. Don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. Anyway, my tent location is kind of around the corner up there, so we'll go there next. It's looking like somebody else has been out here recently, following their tracks. Maybe somebody else has pitched a tent out here, felt the need to get away from society and live as a nomad for a while. Just about there. Just about 25 more yards. A little bit of snow left here in the shade. All right, here it is. Here's where I used to live. Charcoal and stuff from my campfire that I had a couple of times. Usually I didn't have time for building fires or really any need for it when I was out here, because this was one of my summer camps. So I was plenty warm without a fire, and I did my cooking and stuff elsewhere. Usually back at the truck, because that way I wouldn't have to pack my food any farther than was necessary. Had a great view out my tent door. I'll show you some of my old tent poles and stuff. That was one that I used to keep one of the corners of my tent propped up. There's another one. I don't think I used the short one. just the longer one. Another one. These were tamaracs I probably harvested from the White River from my parents' place in Colorado. Anyway, that tree held one corner of my tent. That tree held another corner. That tree held another corner. And I'm pretty sure that post, that stick held up the fourth corner, and I had a stake driven into the ground out here. Oh, there's one of my tent stakes. Anyway, pretty fun to come back here to the old stomping grounds. The first time I came out here and explored around and went down to the creek, I'd climbed down this nasty hillside and got to within about 20 feet of the bottom and hit a cliff to where it was too steep for me to climb down, and I'd have to climb way back up in order to go around one way or the other. I didn't want to do that. But there was one of those cottonwood trees growing close to the cliff with a branch sticking out my way, so I climbed onto one of the branches and shimmied down the tree and got to the bottom and did my exploring. Then when it was time to go, I climbed back up the tree, climbed out along the branch, dropped off on the top of the cliff, and then came on back up here. Well, it's been nice visiting the old campsite, and now I plan to go to those cottonwoods there at the head of the canyon where the spring comes up out of the ground. Got this Brigham tea, Mormon tea, Teamster tea, whatever, all over the place out here. You can pull that off and throw it in a pot of water and boil it and drink it. I like to add sugar to mine. It tastes good, and depending on who you talk to, it has health benefits. And there's a bunch of service berry bushes out here too. Of course, they don't have any berries on them now because it's springtime, but later in the late summer, early fall, you can get some decent tasting berries off of them. It's starting to get a little steep. Too steep, too slick. Ooh, slide to the bottom. Decide to stop and take a break in the shade, get a drink. Got a half gallon of water there, pistol coat, my typical hunting survival pack. I was in a hurry, so I just threw it inside the big backpack along with my other stuff. I'm probably carrying 25-ish pounds of gear with me, partly because I like to be prepared, and partly because, as I said earlier, it's springtime. I haven't done much during the winter, and I need to get some exercise and stay in shape for hunting. So I'm out here getting my workout in. Should have brought a GoPro for places like this where I gotta use four-wheel drive for getting semi-safely to where I need to be. I guess so far I'm doing okay in three-wheel drive. But it would be nice to have an extra hand and still be able to record stuff. Getting pretty close now. You hear the water running? Okay. It's not very far. It's just far enough to make things awkward. So, yeah, trying to get around, get down this, I don't know, 7 feet or so of space that I need to get down. I'm gonna jettison the pack. Everything in it will be fine. This is a good field test for the backpack. And then I'm gonna bail and follow it. Okay, load up and continue on. Left a couple of nice scuff marks on the rock here. Into the nastiness. Reach the bottom. There be the creek. I realized a few minutes ago that I'm pretty sure water filter back in the truck. I was planning on getting a drink out of the creek here while I was out here, but we'll have to see about that. I have to dig through my pack and see what I have for water purification. Till then, I'm going to continue on up to the spring where water comes out. Actually, it appears that the stream takes a dip underground every now and then. Because this is not the head, but you can see the water is not to be seen at this point. I imagine I'll come across it again up here in a little bit. I'm going to get out of this nastiness. Go up into the sagebrush on top. It's more open. Three-wheel drive again. Well, maybe I won't find flowing water up here at the head of the canyon. Looks like it's all frozen. I'm getting into the willows. Those are much nicer to go through than the thorny, nasty rose bushes and other junk that's growing down there. Alright, made it. End of the creek bottom, beginning of the slick rock. I imagine when it rains there's a pretty good portion of water coming off that rock and right down into here. Doing some poking around, found some water down there. It's pretty scummy looking. Not what I really would want to drink. Looks like I found some cattails and stuff. Also looks like my lens is dirty. Need to get it cleaned off. Okay, let's see if we can get to those cattails. Maybe I can dig up a couple of roots, or new shoots, and eat them. There we go. Time to do some digging and getting muddy and messy. Well, the cattail digging didn't go very well. It's still too early. They haven't started growing yet. But I have a big old tin cup here that I can use to get some water and boil it in. So I'm going to build a fire and boil some water, get a drink here. Since the breeze is blowing this way, I'm gonna set up my fire stuff so that I'll light it on this side and hopefully it'll carry through and catch all my sticks and twigs and junk on fire. Change the view of the camera here. I got my little ferro rod knife here. That one didn't quite make it. There we go. Oof. Oh, and then it didn't keep going. It woofed and died. Guess I'm going to need to put some more teeny tiny dry sticks on there. Just a minute. Figure I'll add some little shavings to the mix too. Let's see what happens. Well, the cattail fluff itself catches pretty quick, but it's got to be very, very fluffed to burn, to keep going. Really soft. Come on, keep burning. Lousy junk. something else to this combination. Let's see what some old dry cattail leaves will do. Maybe some of this fuzzy stuff. Let's see if the fourth time is the charm. There we go. Much better. Now we seem to be making some progress. Looks like that did the trick. Not too much, just enough to have the experience. Breeze has definitely picked up. Got some bubbles going down there, warming up. Here we go. That's looking better. Give it a couple more minutes and should be clean. The trouble with boiling water is that, for one thing, you got to have a metal container that you can boil the water in, and then you got to be able to build a fire, and then once your water's boiled, you got to wait for it to cool down so you can drink it. It's a big hassle, but when that's all you got, that's all you got. Okay, I'm pretty sure that my water's boiled enough, and I don't want to wait all day on it to cool down, so I'm going to speed up that process a little bit. Don't tip over. I'll leave it there for a bit. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for my water to cool down, that's where my fire was. I got it all nice and covered up. It's been a few minutes, so I reckon it's time to try my water. Still a little bit warm, but just fine. Tastes good. No overwhelming taste of mud or anything, so that's nice. Guess I could have made some Brigham tea since I passed so much of it on the way down here, but oh well. Cool. Had the experience of getting water from the stream, boiling it, drinking it. I don't know if you can see or not. I do have a little bit of sand down there in the bottom of my cup. That just kind of comes with the territory when you're drinking out of water sources like this. It's been boiled, it's been sanitized, it's fine. I got my fire built, my water boiled and drank. About time to head on out, so here we go. Well, I started down this slope and my feet slipped out from under me and I just slid all the way down. Lovely. Yuck. interesting square gap in the rocks. Cool. Quite the little hideout here. Neat little spot. There's a rabbit. They still exist. I don't see many of them. Not for the last 10 years or so anyway. It's nice that there's still one out here. Cute little bugger. Slick stuff. Try not to slide down again. It's a lot of work climbing up out of this hole. I made it out. Got up on top. Be a lot easier going now that I can stand up straight and not use my hands for climbing up the hill. Sure's gotten windy. It's nice and calm when we started out. And we're back to the Slick Rock area, just above the arch. Area that I showed you earlier. Parking lots that direction. Just about back. On the arch again. Woo. Windy. Nobody else is around out here now. So they're all hiding from the wind. Looks like somebody lost their sweater. An extra t-shirt or something. Guess I'll take it with me and hang it on the fence or something down by the parking lot. Maybe they'll come back and get it. And we're back. It was a good trip. Fun to go back to one of my old campsites. Hike and explore around the spring. Ready to go eat some lunch. See you next time.